Hi guys, and welcome back to the Sweet Life Entrepreneur and Business Podcast. I'm April Beach, and I am excited about this episode. We are continuing to dive into the power of selling your trainings, your courses, your programs, your frameworks, and your content to corporations, organizations, other entrepreneurs, agencies, even educational institutions. This is a next level business move, and the last 5 episodes on this podcast have been completely dedicated to unpacking the steps to help you move forward in this area. So if you are an established coach, consultant, speaker, subject matter expert, if you are a trainer, if you have a proven process and you have been selling your proven process with the results one-on-one, even if you deliver it in a group format, and you're ready to bring your business and your profit to the next level, licensing is the fastest way to do that. I can personally speak to that, and I do unpack a lot of stories here on the Sweet Life podcast about how I have changed my business and my life, and I've been coaching other entrepreneurs to do it for 10 years through licensing. So you are getting trusted, proven, true, take it to the bank business consulting here on the show. And this episode is like all of the others. All of the resources you can find for this episode can be found by visiting sweetlifeco.com. Click on the podcast, and this is episode number 289. In addition to this, we have tons of actual actionable resources for you to start moving in the direction of licensing. So if you aren't even sure what licensing is and you just want to dip your toe in, we have videos that you can watch. We have resources that you can download. If you're ready to get started, but you're not really even sure you want to commit to it, please cruise over to licensinglaunchpad.com, where I will bring you up to the launchpad of licensing and help you determine if this is a good move for your business. Or if you are ready to totally dive into licensing, or if you have had a business already approach you who wants to license your program, you don't know how to price it, you don't know how to release it, you're not exactly sure how to navigate this, cruise over to sweetlifeco.com and apply to work with us in our licensing accelerator or with me privately, and I will take you through the finish line. Here on this podcast, we are diving into the 5 most common ways to package and release your licensed material, your licensed program. There are tons of questions regarding licenses and certifications and train the trainer programs, and we're breaking those apart here on the show. Some of you might be thinking, hey, I kind of want to do a certification, but what does that relate to a license? And what if I want to certify other people in my method? And what about a train the trainer program? Those questions should be clarified for you today on this show to help you be able to move forward and determine which one is best for you in your particular business situation. So if that's what you're here for, if that sounds good, that's what we're downloading on the show. So let's go ahead and dive right on in. There are 5 common ways that our clients typically package up their courses, trainings, and materials and license them to other companies. By the way, a little sidebar here, if you don't actually know what licensing is, let me tell you, it's like renting your programs for other companies to use internally or client-facing. And definitely go back and listen to all the other podcast episodes that I have recorded for you on this. You can even cruise over to our website, and there are tracks on licensing where you can binge how to get started with licensing. So let me make sure I created that foundational understanding for you here. So when we're talking about taking your programs and you're thinking, well, how do I do this? What does this actually look like? Here are the 5 most common ways. And granted, we can create anything, but I'm just covering the 5 most common ways here. The first one is what we call straight as it is licensing. It's just a straight license. What that means is that we're going to take an example. If you have a course that you have created and you are ready to add a lot of zeros behind what you've been selling that course for, we can literally allow for other organizations to distribute your course. And so what that is it's literally packaging up your material and allowing other organizations to access it. They may want to deliver it in their own learning management system. A lot of our clients work with big corporations and they have their own LMS. They have their own internal learning systems where they want to bring your content in, or you may end up hosting it yourself. But either way, How it works is you have an awesome program, you have an awesome course, a company wants their people getting those results. You sign a contract, you agree upon the number of users and some parameters about that. And I talked about parameters in other episodes. And you take the money and you move on. And what's so beautiful about a straight license agreement is that then they come back to renew it. And after the content is delivered, you literally get to walk away. So let me give you a case study of that. My trainings and my programs are literally licensed by other entrepreneurs in small businesses in 13 countries. They line up once a year. I have a waiting list and I approve or disapprove people to license my courses. I have 8 different courses and I approve them or disapprove them to license my courses. I send them a bill, I take the money, and I don't see them again for another 2 years until it's time to renew their license. That's how it works for me. So think about that and think about that case study and how that could work for you. The second way where you can release and model and package your training for licensing is a license plus consulting. This is really beautiful as long as it works with your life. That's where we do exactly as I said. It's the license release of the materials, but you're the expert. And a lot of companies want you to help their people facilitate the expertise that they are learning from you in the license program. So adding consulting or workshops or facilitating groups may be something that you may also want to choose to add on top of licensing your training program. What's so powerful about that is that it really helps for organizations to get even better use out of your content. Now, one of the things that we always tell our clients is that you don't have to do this, and the license term for the content usually lasts longer than your agreement to consult. So just make sure that you're creating a consulting agreement where other people can actually come in and consult for you. It doesn't always have to be just you. We want to build your teams and scale you, and that it is not just ever ending, right? The consulting contract and the licensing agreement are usually 2 separate agreements. So the second way you could release your training and course for licensing is the license of the material, but then adding on some consulting and workshops on top of it. The third way that you may choose to do this is, again, starting with just the licensing of the material, but then also creating what we call Train the Trainer program, where you may then level up their own team members to facilitate and deliver your training. It's not a certification, but you can create a Train the Trainer guide to guide their leaders to guide people through your trainings. It can be just to deliver you the guide, or you can add in some consulting and coaching and some support for their leaders. So the third way that you can package your material is the course, is the content or the material, plus some form of a Train the Trainer. The fourth way where you can package up your program or course for licensing is with the license, like I talked about, for the material, and a certification on top of that. So a certification is where we certify that people understand how to seamlessly execute your methodology. And you validate that and you verify that. So it's a step above that Train the Trainer. It still starts with the licensing of the content, but then you may want to certify individuals within their organization or within a group or a business who you actually say, hey, this person is absolutely excellent and understands the processes in which to get people results according to my training. And you actually certify that. You can even add continuing education onto that and build a certification bigger, which we'll talk about here in a second. But that fourth way of releasing your program for licensing can be the license of the training program and then adding a certification program for either leaders or individuals that actually complete your training program. And the fifth way, and I don't want you to get confused, we're going to flip those 2 words. Whereas number 4 is the licensing is the bulk, the primary product, and the certification would be secondary. In number 5, the certification is primary and the licensing is secondary. Now, let me explain this to you in the best way possible that I can do here on this podcast. What it means that your primary product is a certification program in your course, in your training, in your method that you're teaching. That is the primary product you're selling. And then those individuals who are certified in your method then may have the ability to use your training. And so we'd license your training to them with your product. So hopefully that made sense. I obviously consult people on this in much more details when we're building this in your business, but I'm trying to simplify this for you. Number 4 option is we start with the licensing first, usually releasing it to a corporation, an organization, universities, agencies, and we may certify individuals that are their employees in your process. Whereas the 5th way is we first certify the individuals, and then we allow for those certified individuals to license your content and deliver it within their services. So the 5th way and the 4th way, they seem the same, but they are not the same. They're 2 separate business models. One is primary and one is secondary. So I wanted to record this show for you because out of all the questions I answer about licensing, number 1, everybody wants to know how to price it. And I've talked about in the other episodes exactly the steps that we lead up to in understanding how to price your program. This one is, how do I actually package it?